There was one woman in Umuagu, whose food nobody could resist. But after eating from her restaurant, nobody ever woke up the same. Welcome to Velura Tales, where every tale feels alive. Tonight, listen carefully, because not every delicious meal comes with a clean secret. In the quiet village of Umuagu, where the morning breeze carried the sweet smell of roasted corn across narrow footpaths, and the rich red earth clung gently to the feet of children running barefoot from one compound to another, life moved slowly. At sunrise, farmers balanced their hoes across their shoulders and disappeared into endless green farmlands. Women gathered beneath the old mango tree beside the village square, pounding pepper, peeling cassava, and exchanging the latest gossip before the market bell rang. Children laughed as they chased goats through the dusty paths. The air was always alive with the songs of weaver birds perched high on ancient iroko trees. It was the kind of village where everybody knew everybody. If a baby cried in one compound, the woman 3 houses away already knew why. If someone bought a new wrapper, the entire village would discuss it before sunset. And if there was one person every mouth in Umuagu spoke about, it was Mama Bisi. Mama Bisi was impossible to ignore. She was a short, round woman with cheeks as full as ripe oranges and a laugh so loud that people often heard her before they saw her. Every morning she tied her colorful wrapper tightly around her waist, covered her hair with a bright head tie, and stood proudly behind the giant clay pots inside her restaurant. The smell alone was enough to pull hungry people from every corner of the village. Her egusi soup bubbled gently over firewood. Fresh pounded yam sat inside large wooden mortars. Steaming jollof rice filled the air with the rich aroma of tomatoes, pepper and smoked spices. Before the sun climbed halfway into the sky, her restaurant was already overflowing. Mama Bisi, 1 plate of egusi. Please don't finish the meat before it's my turn. Add more stew for me. Laughter filled the restaurant every single day. Even husbands who proudly claimed that only their wives cooked the best food, secretly found themselves sitting on Mama Bisi's wooden benches before noon. One old man jokingly whispered, "If my wife asks where I ate, tell her I came here to drink water." The entire restaurant burst into laughter. Mama Bisi laughed the loudest. An, see this old man. Business never slowed. Plate after plate disappeared. Pot after pot became empty, yet one question quietly lived inside everyone's mind. How did Mama Bisi do it? She had no cook, no cleaner, no waitress. Nobody had ever seen anyone helping her. Still, every single morning, the food was already prepared, the vegetables already sliced, the pots already washed, the floors already sparkling clean. Whenever anyone asked, "Mama Bisi, where are your workers?" she simply smiled. "My children, the hand that God blesses never grows tired." The villagers nodded. They accepted the answer. After all, who questions good food? But slowly, something strange began happening in Umuagu. People started waking up unusually tired. Strong farmers complained of aching backs. Market women yawned from morning until evening. Children who normally ran around the village now slept beneath trees after school. Nobody understood why. Nobody connected it to Mama Bisi's food. Nobody, except the night. Because when the entire village finally closed its eyes, and silence swallowed Umuagu, someone was preparing to call her workers. Morning after morning, the complaints grew louder. "My body no be my body again. I slept the whole night. Why am I still tired?" One woman stretched her aching back and sighed. "I swear, even my shadow looks exhausted." The women beneath the mango tree laughed. "You too like drama." But before long, almost everybody in Umuagu had the same complaint. The village blacksmith could barely lift his hammer. Farmers rested after clearing only one small portion of land. Even little children who normally chased butterflies all afternoon, now hurried home to sleep. The village healer scratched his grey beard. This sickness is strange. It doesn't bring fever. It doesn't bring cough. It only steals strength. The elders called a meeting beneath the ancient Iroko tree. One suggested herbs. Another blamed the scorching sun. An old woman blamed old age. Nah, because all of Unade grow old. Everybody laughed, but Mama Bisi said nothing. She simply stood at the edge of the gathering, smiling quietly. That evening, just like every other day, her restaurant was filled to the last bench. People laughed. They ate. They asked for more soup. Some even licked their fingers before asking. Mama Bisi, add small stew. She smiled warmly. As long as you can still eat, I'll keep serving. Night slowly covered Umuagu. One by one, the lanterns went out. Doors closed. The village fell silent. Inside her restaurant, Mama Bisi carefully locked the wooden door. She waited. She listened. Not a single footstep. Not a single voice. Only the sound of the wind brushing against the thatched roof. Then, she walked slowly toward a small wooden box hidden beneath her cooking table. She knelt, opened it, and gently lifted out a folded red cloth. She smiled. Now, my workers, it's time to wake. The village slept peacefully. The moon hid behind thick clouds. Even the crickets had fallen silent. It was exactly midnight. Inside her restaurant, Mama Bisi stood alone. The fire beneath the giant pots had gone out hours ago. The empty benches sat quietly in the darkness. Slowly, she unfolded the red cloth. It wasn't an ordinary piece of fabric. Tiny strange symbols were woven into it with black thread. Mama Bisi held it tightly in both hands. She closed her eyes. Then, she blew gently across the cloth. The wind changed. A cold breeze swept through the restaurant. The clay pots rattled softly. The lantern hanging above the doorway flickered by itself. Far across Umuagu, something impossible began to happen. Inside different houses, sleeping villagers remained motionless. A farmer, a market woman, a hunter, a fisherman, even the old man who joked every afternoon inside Mama Bisi's restaurant. None of them woke up. But above each sleeping body, a faint transparent figure slowly rose, one after another. Their spirits quietly stepped out. Their bodies remained asleep. Their spirits walked away, without speaking, without blinking, without looking left or right. They all moved in one straight line, toward Mama Bisi's restaurant. Back inside, Mama Bisi smiled proudly. My hardworking children, you have arrived. The spirits entered silently. No greetings, no questions, no complaints. Mama Bisi clapped once. Immediately, the first spirit picked up a giant wooden pestle. Gayam, Gayam, it began pounding yam. Another washed mountains of dirty plates. One stirred the huge pot of egusi soup. Others sliced vegetables faster than any human hands could. Some fetched water from the village stream, returning within moments. The restaurant came alive, not with living workers, but with silent spirits. Mama Bisi folded her arms and admired them. Faster. Tomorrow will be another busy day. Outside, the wind carried the sound of pestles striking mortars through the silent night. Gabam, 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 but there was no one awake to hear it. Morning came. One by one, the spirits quietly slipped back into their sleeping bodies. No one noticed. The farmer stretched and groaned. My back. The market woman rubbed her shoulders. Hey! Why do I feel like I carried firewood all night? The hunter stared at his blistered palms. But I didn't even go hunting yesterday. Children yawned all through the morning. Some even slept under their classroom desks. The village was slowly changing, but nobody knew why. Only one thing remained the same. By noon, Mama Bisi's restaurant was overflowing again. People still came with empty stomachs, and left with full bellies. A young man laughed as he licked the last drop of egusi soup from his fingers. If this food is the reason I'm tired, then let me remain tired forever. The entire restaurant burst into laughter. Mama Bisi laughed too. Eat well, my children. There is enough for everyone. Outside, Two old women watched from under the mango tree. One leaned closer and whispered, "Have you noticed?" The other frowned. "Noticed what?" "Everybody who eats here wakes up weak." The second woman looked toward the busy restaurant. Then she lowered her voice. "Keep that thought to yourself. Mama Bisi has been feeding this village for years." The first woman nodded, but something about the restaurant suddenly made her uncomfortable. That evening, as the last customer left, Mama Bisi stood alone at the entrance of her restaurant. She looked toward the setting sun. Then, a slow smile spread across her face. "My workers, you've done well." "But tonight, there is even more work waiting." She quietly closed the wooden door. Outside, a pair of unseen eyes watched her. The whispers about Mama Bisi's restaurant refused to die. Some laughed at them. Others ignored them. But business only grew bigger. Every morning, the queue became longer. Every afternoon, the pots became emptier. By sunset, Mama Bisi looked more tired than usual. For the first time in many years, she sighed. "My old bones can no longer do everything alone." The very next market day, news spread through Umuagu. "Mama Bisi is looking for a helper." Young girls rushed to her restaurant. Some wanted the salary, others simply wanted to work for the most famous cook in the village. Mama Bisi watched them carefully. Some talked too much. Some were lazy. Some couldn't even wash one pot properly. Then, a quiet young girl stepped forward. Her name was Amara. She wasn't the prettiest. She wasn't the loudest. But she worked with both hands and never complained. Mama Bisi smiled. "You. I'll take you." Amara's face lit up. "Thank you, Mama." From that day, she swept the restaurant every morning, served customers with a smile, washed plates, arranged benches, and before long, customers began to love her too. One afternoon, while wiping the tables, Amara laughed. "Mama, I've never seen a restaurant this busy." Mama Bisi chuckled. "My child, this restaurant feeds half of Umuagu." Amara looked around, then she frowned. "Mama, who washes all the giant pots every night?" Mama Bisi paused for only a second, then she smiled. "I wake up very early." Amara nodded. But something about the answer didn't feel right. That evening, after the last customer left, Mama Bisi handed Amara her basket. "You've worked hard today. Go home." Amara smiled. "Yes, Mama." She picked up her basket, walked out of the restaurant, but halfway down the lonely footpath, she stopped. She slowly turned around and looked back at Mama Bisi's restaurant. For reasons she couldn't explain, her heart whispered, "Don't go home." And for the first time, Amara decided she was going to find out what really happened inside that restaurant after midnight. That night, Amara did not go home. She quietly hid behind a pile of firewood beside Mama Bisi's restaurant. The entire village slept. Not a single lantern remained lit. She watched as Mama Bisi slowly locked the restaurant door. Then, she walked to the middle of the kitchen. Just as she had done every night, she opened the old wooden box. Inside lay the folded red cloth. Amara held her breath. Mama Bisi lifted it carefully, closed her eyes, and blew gently across it. A cold wind rushed through the restaurant. The firewood crackled by itself. The lantern swung from side to side. Then, Amara saw something that made her blood run cold. From every direction of the village, transparent figures began walking toward the restaurant. They were the spirits of the villagers, the same farmers, the same traders, the same children, the same old men. Their bodies were asleep in their homes, but their spirits marched silently into Mama Bisi's kitchen. One picked up the pestle. Another washed dirty pots. Others stirred soup. fetched water, peeled yam, cleaned tables and swept the floors. Not one of them spoke. They worked like people trapped inside a dream. Mama Bisi laughed happily. My faithful workers, you never disappoint me. Amara could not stay hidden any longer. She ran straight into the kitchen. Leave them alone. Mama Bisi spun around in shock. You. Before she could hide the cloth, Amara grabbed it. Mama Bisi screamed. No. Don't touch it, but it was too late. Amara threw the red cloth into the blazing fire beneath the cooking pot. The cloth caught fire immediately. A loud cry echoed through the restaurant. The strange symbols burned away one after another. Outside, the wind roared. Inside the restaurant, the spirits suddenly stopped working. One by one, they turned toward the burning cloth. Then, like thousands of tiny white birds, they rushed out of the restaurant and flew back toward their sleeping bodies. The restaurant began to shake violently. The giant pots crashed to the ground. The shelves collapsed. Mama Bisi fell to her knees. My workers, they cannot leave me. Within moments, the restaurant became completely silent. No footsteps, no pounding yam, no invisible hands, nothing. The next morning, for the first time in many months, the people of Umuagu woke up feeling refreshed. Their bodies were light again. The farmers returned to their farms with strength. The children laughed as they ran through the village. No one knew exactly what had happened that night, only Amara knew the truth. As for Mama Bisi, her restaurant never became busy again. Without the stolen labor of innocent souls, she could no longer cook for hundreds of people alone. She finally understood that success built on the suffering of others never lasts forever. Years later, the elders of Umuagu would point toward the ruins of Mama Bisi's old restaurant and tell every child, hard work brings blessings, but stealing another person's strength will one day leave you with none of your own. And from that day, the people of Umuagu chose food made with honest hands over food made by dark secrets. You've reached the end of today's story, Red Heart. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share and subscribe to Volore Tales. Your support helps us bring more unforgettable African stories to life. Until next time, every village has a story. Every story has a secret. See you in the next episode.